Welcome back here at Goldberg. Today we'll be talking about this NY Post story, which shows you the sad fate of the oofy doofy male. Indiana husband kills wife on Valentine's Day after she just didn't give an S about Paris-themed date he planned. An Indiana hamburger allegedly killed his wife on Valentine's Day when he stabbed her 40 times with a Big A knife because she doesn't care about his Paris-themed evening he arranged. Taylor Meyer, 34, so a millennial, is accused of beating his wife Deborah with a wine bottle and stabbing her repeatedly while the couple's three young children slept upstairs in their Jeffersonville home before boasting about it to the victim's possible lover. I would not say possible. I would say either yes or was going to be, and would not surprise me if he was some MAGA Trump type that goes around, he's on fire for Jesus. Just because those individuals seem to have no ethics if you pay attention to their behavior online. His grand plans for the Valentine's Day stemmed from growing suspicion that his 36-year-old wife, so she's older than him, was having an affair with a coworker. Just a normal-looking couple. Nothing special on either side. In an attempt to turn the tide, he bought her a dress, ordered dinner, and had the kids draw pictures of the Eiffel Tower as part of a Bringing Paris to You evening. Okay, so he didn't take her to Paris. It was, well, imagine we were there. And maybe that's why she was crestfallen and rather upset. Meyer gave his wife a card with a handwritten message inside, and the two even danced their wedding song. So you could claim he neglected her for years. Or alternatively, he really liked her and he didn't want to lose what they had. But what you will find is that, number one, men are usually trying to lock the woman down. This is a mistake from the past, perhaps when they didn't have economic opportunities and they say, oh, she entrapped him. But last 30, 40 years, it's often the guy who is scared of losing the woman. That's why he'll propose, especially if they had a bad breakup once they reconcile. Or maybe she already cheated on him, but it's like, hey, much better than being with that I label. Remember that famous song from back in the day? Everyone was listening to it on the radio, and it goes, watch yourself and scary inkwell, watch yourself and die. You can't go in that direction. So you have to maintain access to a woman such that you can talk down to other men. But to her husband's eyes, Deborah did not appear impressed or appreciative. Exactly. When a woman has begun holding you in contempt, it doesn't really matter all these obsessive gestures as a male. You can go back to that Tarzan movie when he's watching the slideshow. In learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn. But she's going to magnify whatever you did wrong, no matter how minuscule. And all the bonds, all the good times, all the memories goes into the trash can because she has to prepare psychologically to delete the fellow, to unperson him. I suspect it goes back to the War Bride era where they have to be prepared to flush the last guy in order to preserve their existence. So you can take that track, or maybe it's just immoral behavior, hypergamy, but those are all interrelated to some extent. His wife left the home for 20 minutes, which Meyer says he believes was to meet up with her boyfriend. Yeah, this is a normal looking dude, probably had better appearance in college, and he starts losing his hair. If he gets out on the dating market, he's going to be invisible except as a beta bucks deluxe. When she got back, the night turned violent when Meyer allegedly attempted to pry the victim's phone out of her hands, led to a fight. What are you going to do, kill me? You're going to have to hurt me and leave the kids with no parents? See, there isn't really a consideration of what she's doing wrong. It's basically she's trying to guilt trip him while still likely proceeding with the affair. So he wrestles away the phone, then he tells the boyfriend it's his fault, and that's when he starts hitting her with a wine bottle and goes to town. He found a big-ass knife, plunged it into her a dozen times, including her chest. When Meyer was arrested, they found the couple's three children inside the home. Wow. Pleaded not guilty to a murder charge. You will be held in jail. Not guilty. You confess to the police. Good job, my friend. Now, obviously, this is extreme behavior, and why be sent to prison for life and not be able to see your kids, period. Sadly, it's a byproduct of our world today, because in the past, I'm saying the ancients, they had legal systems that protected the honor of the aggrieved spouse. If you cheated, not just you will face the ultimate penalty, but also the person that you were messing around with. And it's to say, human beings behave in a dishonorable fashion. There has to be an outcome that is negative for them. In this case, in at least our present era, there is no such penalty for women, no matter what they do. They can get away with practically anything because she's going to eventually leave him. She's going to take his assets. He'll have to pay alimony, child support, and he's not going to have a real family. See, these guys, gynocentric black pillars, they'll go, oofy doofies win. Yeah, but what kind of life you have when you see your kids part time and she's bad mouthing you to them? Then she's telling her friends that you were emotionally unavailable, you were abusive, you did XYZ. She's telling the guys that she sleeps with how you were just worthless, you couldn't make her happy or satisfied. And he's, as I said, he's not going to have a future with women unless he goes to the Philippines. So it's a sad situation to say the least. Maintaining frame doesn't matter because you can maintain frame all you want when a woman insults you, when she's trying to talk you down. As a man, you can't go caveman mode because that's illegal. That's going to get you sent to prison, period. So you can't even pass her tests. A lot of modern culture is women presenting to men, what are you going to do about it? You're going to let me be a feminist, let me be a liberal, let me behave badly, but you cannot respond because the consequences are too high on a one-sided basis. And this becomes the terrible way to reclaim a sense of dignity. And what is the cost? Tremendous to you and everyone else involved. Ultimately, there is nothing more counterproductive than trying to showcase yourself as a decent man in the present market, romantic dating, whatever you want to call it. Just don't go there. If you suggest to a woman you care about her, you want to build a future, it's going to be red flag central, and she's going to do anything possible to torch that potential relationship or association. I didn't know this existed, but recently, or in the last couple of years, you've seen these bread tubers with their "Hey guys" type thumbnails talking about our nice guys. And, some dudes who fall under that umbrella, they're legit just turds who believe that they're good for simply existing. But some of the messages, you can tell these guys, they care about the woman. They want something to go forward. But honestly, nice guy behavior usually goes hand in hand with not having adequate looks. So you feel you have to supplicate as opposed to red pill a-hole or whatever it might be. And they will see it. In fact, women are all over the internet running interference for PUAs, saying that these nice guys are all scumbags and they almost would prefer to be abused by the red pill types, which is usually, of course, the ones they find more attractive, physically speaking. So you can't really win as a decent fellow. You're going to have to resort to this. You have to be indifferent. You have to be somewhat aloof. You have to be presenting enough spontaneity and chaos to keep them entertained, but also don't make the mistake of showing that you value them. And it's terrible. It seems like only something psychopaths would engage with, but that's the sad reality. Remember that song, "I know you were sent to me. If you ask me, I'm not ready." That's the fact, and you can say whatever you want about it. The truth is, and they're discussing it on TikTok, you have other instances. I was listening to someone doing a breakdown, and this girl said she was married for like 10 years, and I just couldn't make myself love him. You're married, you've got kids, you can't make yourself love him? There was another where she said, this guy on paper, he was perfect. He was literally the one you want, but there was just something missing. There's something missing. And more than likely, there's going to be something missing if, again, you try to push that decent chap demeanor or attitude. They don't want such an experience. They want this. Here we have a bunch of girls, they're Arab Sellas, Kawutar Nakad, Imani Malah, Wafai El Rar. They were found dead in Belize. They took, I guess, some street drugs and they OD'd. This is what they want to be doing. See, this is a woman. She is a menkuja with spaghetti hair, but not a terrible looking girl. In the past, they'd already be married. The husband would be hopefully not giving them drugs, but instead they're off at a Belize resort. They may not even be with boyfriends of any sort. They might be trying to hook up with a tourist and living a normal life. This is what it is in their 20s. They don't want to get married and settle down. So this is the harsh truth. Remember, there's a price to pay. So even if you think, oh, I've slipped through the cracks. Oh, it doesn't apply to me. Well, you got to think, how's the woman treating you, and how's it going to go going forward? You always got to hedge that. You always got to be aware. You can't afford to assume it's all good. It's all fine and dandy.